All right, you're still watching TVC Breakfast. Now, there is a bit of relief for Nigerians as inflation continues to ease, dropping to 18.02% in September, down from 20.12% in August 2025. Now, the National Bureau of Statistics says it's the sixth straight month that prices have slowed, and the first time in 3 years, inflation has dipped below 20%. Now, demonetization means that while prices are still rising, they're doing so at a slower pace. And they welcome change for households battling high food and transport costs. Economics say if this trend continues, it could ease pressure of living costs and gradually restore customer confidence in the economy. Now, joining us in the studio for this conversation is Finance with Mukhtar Mohammed. He joins us on the show this morning. Good morning, and thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
And, just before we started the conversation and we were talking, I was speaking about the fact that how much tomato is now and how we used to be before. And you were telling me that, we cannot compare the prices. It's a bit lower than it used to be. But we're hearing 18.02, percent. It seems like a good figure, but people are still not excited because people are saying that these prices are still relatively high compared to what it used to be before. The layman on the streets, the market women, when you tell them inflation, they're like, it's not even reflected because we're still buying these things a bit higher. But you economists will argue that it's a bit higher, but it's not like how it used to be before. When do we get to the point that everybody will now agree that, okay, I'm buying a bag of tomato for, let me say 15,000 naira. Let me just put it at that.
Well, I think we will not be doing ourselves a lot of justice to the government or to the management, economic management team, if we say that things are what it used to be some months ago. Yes, it might not be where they met it, but it's not where we were going to before now. Yeah. So I think there's been a relatively change in terms of what we're seeing now is the difference, the coming down is not so drastic. That's the truth. But you could see that that instability, that volatility, that you buy something in the morning, you go there in the afternoon, the price has changed, has relatively not, it's not like that again. Like you said in the report, they said price of goods are coming down slowly. Yeah. Not that they are coming down drastically. So we must understand, and if you look at the inflationary picture, we're talking month to month, it's about 0.7 month to month. So it's very slim. But when you talk about year, then you see the difference. Remember, by this time last year, inflation was about 37%. Yeah. So if you compare it to where it's year to year, it's better. Now, you say, how did we get here? Is inflation really that low? Don't forget that why we got to where we are today was because of rebasing. Now, rebasing is that we have seen a new area in our economy where people can invest and create jobs. By virtue of that rebasing, it brought down our inflation. One, like I said on your program before, rebasing will not automatically lead to low price of goods and services. Yeah. Rebasing will lead to new employmentability of Nigerians because that new area that has opened up, new companies will come, create more jobs, and then employ Nigerians. And then you have discretionary income now to spend on commodities. And then once you have that income to spend on commodities, that means your income has slightly gone up because you now have a job from not having a job. And then you can buy those commodities. Now, what we have seen today, we are enjoying is all the monetary policy tools. What I mean, monetary policy to bring down exchange rate. I've said it before, and I think I stand happily to say that. I've said it when the CBA was cutting rate. I said it on your program. I said it over a year. I said rate cut is not the challenge to Nigerian inflationary pressure. Our current inflationary pressure was largely driven at that time by exchange rate volatility. I remember saying, government, take a cut off your tariff or stabilize the exchange rates. As long as exchange rate was very volatile, we were not going to get to a stable inflationary figure. And then look at it. At that time, I was thinking about 1,700, 1,800. At the point, it got to 1,900. But today, you can say between official, about 1,700 and 1,475 officially. Parallel market, 1,500. You can see with that differential, that is what you are beginning to see in terms of easing down of inflation. Yeah. And all this started when exchange rate was stable. Today, we will not be crying that, oh, you're not sure what the exchange rate. People are not no more holding the exchange, the dollar again. The dollar is all over. You go to the bank, you want to withdraw. Before then, it's, oh, you cannot withdraw. But now, and to make it even better, you cannot pay or do international transaction with your Naira card. That tells you liquidity have improved in the dollar side. And that is why you are seeing that stability. Yes, Nigeria will say, oh, we are not seeing it.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, when you are doing a reform, first of all, reform is to say we are changing our way of life. Change is painful. Then, who are going to benefit from the reform? First, investors. People that are ready to invest into that reform, or people that have been investing in that reform even when it was not there, they will benefit. That's why you see today investors in the Nigerian stock exchange, fixed income space, Eurobond, capital market, are the one enjoying. Secondly, businesses. Now, what type of business? That's why our challenge is the bigger business. By this time last year, most of these businesses were in red. Billions in terms of losses because of what? Fluctuation of the exchange rate. Then the exchange rate has stabilized. If you go to some of those businesses, the bigger companies, you realize that they have come out of that and they are not declaring profits. That tells you business. Now, the challenge is that there's a disconnect. And that disconnect is with the informal sector, which is the key driver of the Nigerian economy. The market woman, the Okada rider, the barber, the guy with the barbing salon, the hairdresser, those are the disconnects. And those disconnects cannot be fixed by the monetary policy. It can only be fixed by the physical side, which is the federal government, the state government, and the local government. What is the state government, what is the federal government doing, what is the local government doing, and what is the state government doing? They are the ones that are with the informal sector, and they are the ones that benefit more. Because if you look at the informal sector is not driven by taxes. It's driven by levies. They pay levies to state government or to local government.
Yes, that's true.
So they are not. So once that, if they are not feeling that impact when you go to the market, because everything is same of same, high cost of transportation, bad road network within those vicinity of those market women, levies are still coming up, illegal levies, official levies. So definitely they'll price that into the life of the consumer.
Of their commodities. Right. Now, the way you have explained this thing now, I have a better understanding of how it works, you know, from here, there. No wonder somebody was saying, these policies are quite elitist. When will it get down to the average Nigerian? But it's better, it's elitist, and then it gets down eventually than nothing at all happening. How would it have affected the inflation rate and the economy if our governors, I don't want to say subnational, let me not confuse some people, it's if our governors were doing better about a lot of things, about investments, about people-oriented policies and things like, how would it have affected our inflation
you would have seen the bigger impact than what we are seeing now. Now you talk about governors, you realize that they've earned more than what they used to earn before.
Yes.
They will tell you, oh, the time we're earning that exchange rate was 750. But you can always tell them you are even earning above 100% or 200% of what you were earning before. Before now, at the end of the month, they go to Abuja and quarrel over subsidy. Now they sit at the comfort of their place and their banks alert according to them from the Federation account. So what have they done with it? What you've seen government done with high spending is more political appointees. A certain governor recently gave to a special advisor about 154 special advisors because he has more money. We have not seen investment in education. We have not seen investment in primary and secondary education.
Space priorities.
That is priority. We have not seen investment in healthcare. I'm not talking about the bigger hospital. I'm talking about primary healthcare. We have not seen governors doing investment in those areas.
Farm implements and all of that.
So that when somebody is sick, he doesn't start looking for a private clinic or private hospital to go to. He goes to the primary healthcare. It will be cheaper. So what you are doing, that means his income is improving. He's not spending so much on health because you cannot say somebody cannot fall sick. That is one. Secondary and primary education. The public schools are not better for me to say I don't have to put my children in a private school, go to the public schools. I will not have to spend much. So that will increase my spending power. Nigerian economy is a consuming economy. If we are not able to consume, businesses, especially in the informal sector, will not grow. That's why when you go to the market, you ask a market woman, he say, I have not made sale today, nobody is coming. Because most of the disposable income that are supposed to be used on those things are now used to take care of health and education. And struggling to buy food.
Yeah, that's right. So if you now try to look at it now, you talked about the larger investors making money. You also went to the capital markets, Eurobond, But I want us to look at stock, because connecting this inflation story to that of the capital market itself, yes, they are making gains, but Nigeria's inflation, which has now for 6 straight consecutively 18.02, very laudable. Investors are cautiously very much optimistic regarding this. But the Nigerian Stock Exchange All-Share Index has actually shown mixed performance lately. Shouldn't we be worried that inflation, by extension, prospects of lower interest rate, be bullish signals bullish signal for equities, but then, or if maybe I'm now wondering, maybe investors are reading other risks beneath the surface, if you understand my question.
I tend to disagree, because the market has been bullish. A return of 42.36% as at yesterday, beat whether rebasing inflation or current inflation. The only success story that you can say about the Tinubu administration that hits the ground running is the capital market. Since he came in, the capital market have enjoyed a bullish.
They were like the first to be declaring profits.
So now, but it was not all. Remember, at that time, the consumer sector of the capital market were suffering. The Nestle's of this world, the PZs of this world, the Unilevers of this world, the MTN of this world, they were suffering because of the floating of the currency, because most of them were import dependent in terms of their material. So you didn't see that. But currently now, the capital market has done 43. That is average. But there are some equity that has done even 200 or 300%.
But as of yesterday, there were some actually who were declaring loss. Because it was a conversation we were having in the newsroom. Some were actually dropping in their shares.
The stock market is not a straight graph. It's not a straight line. It will never be a straight line. Profit taking, in spite of the better fundamentals of your company, perception and profit taking can come in. I can decide not to buy a stock because the stock is not going to pay me what X will pay me. So it doesn't mean now. Let me tell you about it. Now, the challenge why you are saying what you are saying in the capital market is because about 80% or 90% of the capital market at today is driven by retail investors. Now, retail investors are those people that invest for different purposes, and they are not long-time players. They will invest and there's time to pay school fees. The money is not coming. I have to trade off my shares to pay my school fees. When you have institutional investors, they are the ones that come in there. Then you will see that long bullish run, because they are going to be there for maybe 1 year or 2 years, depending on how much funding they came in with, what their strategy is. So as long as we continue to have those retail investors continue to have what, and it's also good because retail investors are largely Nigerians. Now, we will get to a point whereby we have both the retail investor, we have the institutional investors, who might be both local and foreign, then we have the foreign portfolio investors. When they come in, then you begin to see that stability. Now, currently, the stability you are enjoying in the FX market is largely driven by inflow from portfolio investors, either through the fixed income space, through the Eurobond, or Nigeria in the diaspora. Because if you look at our oil benchmark, though the World Bank say we are improving in terms of production, but look at the price. Our budget benchmark price is $75 per barrel. We are not even doing $70 per barrel, and yet our reserve is improving. This is because of those foreign portfolio and the non-oil sector that has come in to augment the loss that we would have suffered if we were strictly only in the oil sector. So it's a long road. It's a long way to
But
go.
I want to take you back to something that we discussed. You spoke about governors. We spoke about misplaced priorities. At the end of the day, what do you think is the way forward with that? Because we've now seen that this is where the trouble is coming from. What are governors putting in place to make sure that, we eradicate the misplaced priorities, hiring people that we do not need to hire, spending more money that we do not need to?
But I actually listened to you. It's okay. Yeah. We're talking about a governor that is in the second term and is switching.
Exactly.
Switching on. He's looking for. You said maybe he's looking for protection. No, I'm not putting you. So, what it tells you, the governors have become so powerful. They determine what happens.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say. Now, what are the participation levels of the people? Do we really know what budget is supposed to? Do we listen? Do we have the budget of Lagos State? My local government, do I have the budget of my local government chairman? Can I walk up to him and say, Mr. Man, you said you were going to do X, Y, and money was provided for it. What did you do with the money?
But how easy is it for a layman to be able to walk up and have those conversations?
Why not?
There is FOI Act.
Well, let's not go to FOI because I'm not really a fan of the FOI because it does not work. Because when you go to the FOI and you say, oh, freedom of information bill, you go and you bring out something, then the governor say you are doing cyberbullying, they come after you. Yeah, so let's not go there. But what I'm talking about, if we are participating, you see, when there is a fire incident in my local government, who do they cry? Oh, Tinubu, oh, federal government, oh, they did not. But it's not the work of the federal government. It's even the local government. How many local government even have fire service? That is one. Secondly, in terms of levies, the kind of levies these people pay, the market women, and then you expect them to make profits. No.
And that's why they keep increasing their prices,
Of course. Then you're talking of transportation. We've heard about CMG buses since President Tinubu came to power. I don't know how many you have seen.
No, we use several of them here.
TVC, use several
and
of them.
some outside, I know,
Good. State government, how many do they have to cater for the population? A single individual brought in about 143 trucks of CMG buses to lift fuel to all over Nigeria. And the federal government and the state government are still struggling to even bring up to 100. So those are the problem. The problem is not the monitoring side. They have done enough.
Now, if you're talking about Dangote, I think it's about 4,000 of them.
4,000.
They have done enough. The monetary side have done enough. Physical side, what are you doing? Somebody said some states could afford to pay 150,000 as minimum wage. But they are still crying. A particular state, you have an airport in a major capital, and that airport is the up, and you say you are building an airport close to a very busy airport. Who will go to your airport? When we are talking about insecurity.
So it just looks like there's a lot of misplaced priorities.
White elephant projects. Somebody is going to build an airport because the government is going to build an airport so that he can land there with his chopper. When he goes with the private jet, he can now be able to travel to Lagos. The private jet comes to pick him to go to Abuja. That's why he's building the airport. So at the end of the
day, it's for their own personal gains.
They have not sat down with the people. Let me give you an example. If Borno State governor sit down with the people today, he knows what his strength is. Their strength is agriculture. I will provide road for you. I'll provide security for you to be able to produce. And what? Export it to every part of Nigeria. Benue State is the food basket of the nation. Even I think they call themselves Benue State, the food basket of the nation. How much food have we gotten from Benue State because of insecurity? Those are the major problems. And insecurity is not going to be handled by military policy. Then today the government will tell you that insecurity is not even in our hands. Security is not even in our hands. That's why we are talking about community policing. State policing. So all these are physical problems. Now look at the federal government. The federal government will tell you, look, we are building roads. We are doing this, we are doing that. If the local government and the state government are not complementing with inner roads, so I will fly on the federal roads, clean, and I get to my street. It's bumpy.
Okay, let's quickly do this because I think we have just a few minutes to do it. The way you've preferred solutions to this governor's thing, You know, how do we knock this information into their heads? How do
Hold
we
them
get them to
accountable.
start doing this thing? How do we make them see the urgency, you know, for them to start implementing some of these things that you've said?
Very quickly.
I think the challenge they have is that we are politically naive. The average Nigerian is not interested. There's lack of trust. They don't even trust them.
I
to
think
do
they're
anything.
building trust again, actually.
Maybe in some states.
Yeah.
Because in other states, it's getting worse.
Do you not think it is ignorant too, not knowing the right thing to do or the right questions to ask?
Ignorance, sometimes people say ignorance, but you get ignorant because of lack of trust. That's why I'm ignorant of what is happening, because I don't even trust you. So why should I even want to know what you are doing? I'll be ignorant of what you are doing because I don't even trust what you tell me you will do, so I'll be ignorant. Yes, ignorance has a part, but when the elite are ignorant, the elites even are even ignorant. They don't even want to know what they just say, look, let me just face my own thing. These people are just there for their own reasons. So it's because of lack of trust that create that ignorance.
But I think people